Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, have we been looking at the news, scratching our head because our politicians who inquisitioned the FAA concerning the quality deficiencies at Boeing, they got to pull their head out of their tuchus because they have not come to me for that information because they're scared to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you here. This video today is Boeing's 2002 supplier notification and 2009 FAA consecrating them as FAA regulators. More tragedies will be happening. So let me tell you this. When I first opened up my business in 2011, 2012, we opened up our registration company. 2013, we did a speech at the American Society for Quality where Mr. David Levy, Region 3 Director, said, "We have no problem with you. ANAB supports you, sir, in what you do." Well, that didn't go up the chain of command at all. At the time, ANSI, the American Society for Quality, owned ANAB 50%. And ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, which is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental entity that has federal agencies and corporations on board, also owned it 50%. In 2016, we were once again solicited, this time by Randy Doherty, who at the time was a technical advisor. But in 2015, he handed over leadership of the International Accreditation Forum, incorporated in Delaware, no less, to a communist Chinese national, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is mandated by his country of origin, China, to take our data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. He was also in 2017, this Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, was standing there in the Wuhan lab as the IAF chairman, but also representing as the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services, which is equivalent in accreditation to ANAB. In fact, any national or international accreditation body that sits on the IF is protected because ANSI, ANAB are underwriters. They take full legal responsibility, both for systematic failure and also for product failure. You can't make this up. And Miss Pamela Sales at the time was giving a deposition in Texas, no less. She was a vice president of quality for a laboratory. And she said from one laboratory to another, they lack protocols, which means that virus, she just confessed to why it got released. In fact, in 2017-18, some people from the United States went there to Wuhan, China, and talked to the scientists. And the scientists said, please, we need more trained technicians. In May of 2019, the CDC wrote a training document for virology labs in Wuhan, in China. The only lab mentioned was Wuhan, China. And in it, it states, and I quote, the most important function of the lab is to have trained and qualified lab technicians to make it function. So basically in 2017, when Zhao Jinwu issued them the cert, he mustn't even have looked, give me your cash and let me go, and here's your piece of paper. That's basically a fraud. So Randy, at the time of handing that over, was the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the IAF, and also on the IF tax report as a principal, which meant he had the whole control. Let's try to get done with this quickly. And we're going to continue. So I opened up my business, and I thought I was going to have no problem until I went out to California, I went to Arizona, I went to Texas. I was going all over. There were companies that I approached that wanted, we give a great service, whether it's consultation or through ISO certification. And what happened was they say, I am not going to transfer. You're a nice guy, Daryl. You're very knowledgeable. We've listened to you. We've looked at everything that you offered. But he says, we are forced into doing ANSI-ANAB by Boeing. Boeing does it. Well, you're going to find out that Boeing sits on ANSI-ANAB's board. Boeing has on their supplier portal must be ANSI-ANAB or internationally equivalent. And they have on that supplier notification must be ANSI-ANAB. So let me show it to you. I asked him, he says, no, Daryl. Anyway, we don't care because it's pay to play. It's pay to play, Daryl. So now we go with Boeing real quick. Boeing, here's Boeing. Here's the actual supplier bulletin. It's going to be down below. Everything's going to be down below, ladies and gentlemen. I want to show you, I want to verify to you that we do have the bulletin that basically says if you're AS9100 by ANSI-ANAB, just send us your certificate. We don't have to send anybody there to look at your facility. They did sample inspection of their companies, just sample inspection. I have a heads up 116 that Boeing and some other OEMs were bitching about the processes that their registration companies accredited by ANAB were doing. And then here you go. This is the best one. Ladies and gentlemen, first you're sending in parts for 22 years without inspection, basically. That's what's happened. And then the FAA gives them authority, self-certify, and this is what they do. Allows Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing and product standards, along with certification of aircraft technologies and new designs. So they basically could do the whole ball of wax. So again, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear these companies, these lawyers, MCAS system, they frauded the FAA. They put the system in, they didn't even tell the FAA. Why should they? They are the FAA. Did you read that? Here it is. Boeing is the freaking FAA, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it says the FAA increased authority of Boeing's commercial aircraft division to self-certify its own aircraft. So look at that. So they could have done anything structural, mechanical to that aircraft. They are self-certified. They take over for the FAA. So when people bitch about the MCAS system, they are the FAA, ladies and gentlemen. 203-556-1493. Or Daryl, tqrs@yahoo.com. I thank you. I'm sure, sorry for the length of the video, but down below, you'll find the rest of the data. And by the way, Boeing was caught fudging documentation when they were an FAA regulator. And then they get caught at the Boeing Bell facility, composite facility, fudging documentation from 2007 to 18. What is that telling you, ladies and gentlemen? If it's Boeing, don't get going. And I seriously mean that. There is going to be a major issue. You know, we have accumulating tolerances, and with them not looking at their suppliers, just a cursory look and having a piece of paper say their quality is great. They're sitting on the board, okay? Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know something? Here, look. They sit on the board. And the accreditation body is there too, ANAB, and ANSI took over complete control over ANAB in 2018. You can't make this up, and I thank you.